So guys, first thing I've got to say is I, like many others, had not heard of you before until we were sent the album about a year ago. And I remember putting the album on and hearing the first track, it's like Nitro. I'm just thinking, where are these guys from? No, the Netherlands. Southern Netherlands. And like every track was completely different. You would begin on Night Train, so we had James Brown, and then we were a couple of tracks later we're in Philadelphia. There's a little bit of Philly soul, and then we've got the Hammond organ, and then we've got some of the Blues Brothers, and then we've got Mr. Garbage Man. And I'm thinking, right, okay, so you've got the diction of the Black American bluesman. So where have you come from? Why haven't you been to the UK before? And why are you not more well known than you are?
That's a good question.
There was about 8 questions in there.
So why have we never been to the UK?
Yeah,
it's weird. First, I think for many years we thought it was just a very large step to come to the UK, or we were more our minds were more occupied with like playing in Germany and playing in France and Spain. And then when maybe the time had come for us to go to Britain, Brexit happened, and we thought we couldn't go to Britain anymore. And so then our focus,
we're sorry about that.
Yeah, but then when once we started doing it, sometimes you put off something for such a long time that it becomes like this big thing. We also have that with going to the United States to play. Like, we've never played there, and the longer it takes us for get there.
But there's got to be some reason there, because your music would appeal across the board. Your level of musicianship is quite frankly staggering. I've just been watching you doing the warm up out there, and it's amazing. And everybody that I'm stood next to were talking, saying, "Did you know them? Not before last year. Why haven't we heard from them before?" So you clearly need to get off your ass, boys. I have to say this, right? You need to be doing a bit more than the Netherlands and Germany.
We got something going now, because we're coming back in March, so we have like 10 dates.
Yes.
And then we're already planning something for September, so we got something rolling now. I think it's
You were on a platform. It was called. You have to tell me if I get this wrong. The Kunstbande. Kunstbande. Right, so this is you in 2007, which is a platform for Dutch teenagers from 13 to 17 to showcase. And you were apparently the first act that had ever appeared where there was no critique. It was all tick every box.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, but we were doing something pretty unique for such young kids at that time. I mean, no one around us played like classic rock. And we were a bunch of teenagers, 13, 16, 17 years old, and we were playing in the style of The Doors and Deep Purple and all that kind of stuff. So it felt like something new. Of course, it wasn't something new.
So how did you get into this? Because I imagine when you're growing up, your friends aren't listening. I mean, because you're still in your 20s. When you started this, you were in your teens, 12, 13, 14.
It was 13,
Yeah, so I don't imagine that your friends were listening to Deep Purple or The Doors. So
we had some friends, actually. But it started, I think, with, and this is weird, so we're brothers, and our dad was always playing music at home. So there was always music playing, but it was more like alternative rock from the 80s until now, because our dad is 54 now, so he grew up in the 80s. And so that provided like a first incentive to do something with music. And then I started playing guitar when I was 9. I was like inspired by, I don't know, like Nirvana probably. And when I was 11, I was kind of like, skateboarding was more interesting to me than guitar playing. To revitalize my my interest in the guitar more, I guess, my dad gave me he bought me a Jimi Hendrix compilation CD for Christmas, but he didn't know Jimi Hendrix. He just knew that Jimi Hendrix was seen as the best guitarist in the world. And he was like, maybe this will inspire Pablo to quit skateboarding and really invest his time in the guitar again. And then I listened to it, and at first I was like, I don't know what to make of this. And then the second time I listened to it, because when you're young and especially when you get an album this was for Christmas.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I had. Like, that was the only CD I had, so I played it again and again and again. Around the third time, something clicked, and I was like, whoa, oh, this is awesome. And then especially since there were some songs that I could kind of play, like after some practice, it really did revitalize my enjoyment of guitar playing. And then Luca also heard it, and because of Hendrix, I started delving deeper into this kind of music, and I discovered Cream and Led Zeppelin and The Doors and all of those 60s bands.
But to perfect the technique that you've done and listen to your live set out there, I mean, it's not merely a copy. I mean, your original music is very original. I mean, it's too easy, actually. When I looked at the description of the band, Psychedelic Southern Rock from the Netherlands, from the deep south of the Netherlands. Well, I mean, that's a fairly loose interpretation, because you've got more going on in there than
I think it has to do with
that.
us discovering all this music at such a young age. You always you go on, you want to discover more. So Hendrix came to us when I was 13 probably, and he was 9, 10. And so then I got into older blues, and then later Luca turned us onto old soul music, and this has been happening for 20 years almost. We've been listening to all this old music from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and what comes out then naturally, if you're inspired by all that music, what comes out is something that is almost traceable to one of those sources, because it's
your work rate. You're churning out albums and songs, and you connect very well with your support base. Asking them, which songs should appear in what order on albums, the way you put together albums, making an album called the Tascam tapes. And for people that don't know what that is literally a handheld tape recorder, isn't it? Which you record voice on. So you made an album in the back of in the back of the van.
Yeah. There was this idea. Pablo came up with it. He had this old Tascam Porta 1 or Porta 2.
Porta 2. Yeah.
The cassette recorder, and we were like, hey, maybe we can do something with it, because it sounds nice. It has this crunchy sound. But we were going on a tour, and we couldn't record in studios. I couldn't set up a drum kit in the van, of course. So we had to come up with different ideas. And then, Pablo had his guitar, but I had to play everything on a drum sampler machine. So I had all these old soul records at home, and I recorded some drum intros and some drum breaks on that machine, and that was all I had. So it was totally different from the way we would record normally. And Robin had this super small synthesizer, and we were crammed, sitting in the back of the van like this. Robin was playing like that, I was doing like this, and then our roadie and sound guy were in the front, and they were getting crazy.
Yeah, and it kind of has to do with our, very early on in our career, we just started releasing albums. It didn't take 5 years of preparation for making that first album. We just went and made it. Basically, we were so young that we didn't have we weren't nervous or anxious about it. We were just young, and we're oh yeah, fuck it, let's do it. We didn't think. And then we did another one, and another one, and another one. So by the time we made our 7th album, we were we know how this works. Let's try something else.
So what is the plan going forward? I mean, it seemed almost as if you were releasing too much music, because people couldn't actually get into what you've just released, say Wolfpack, and sit and listen and get to know it and get to like it and everything else, because there's something else come out, and then you put that back there. So do you now need to just slow down on the output, maybe get out and do more live gigs in places you've never been to, or places that you need to be in more to get more recognition?
Yeah, maybe, but we we like it so much, you know, to write and record.
Yeah.
So that's what we will just keep on doing, and play a lot of shows in between.
Yeah.
And next year we're planning on going back to the UK, and we're doing like a European tour, but we're also planning on recording a new album. So we have to somehow make that work. But eventually we will be
the latest album then that you brought over here. How's it gone down with the crowds here in the UK? How have you found the tour?
Well, we're only just starting in the UK, so you know this is a support tour. We're supporting Jared on this tour, so it's not really our audience yet. But in March, hopefully, a lot of people will show up and. So yeah, we're just starting in the UK.
Fine. Right, guys.
It's been a lot of fun, though. I mean, and we've been. Oh, come in. Come in. Oh.
There's a code here. I'm so sorry. My Leslie was broken. I had to fix it. So let's hope it'll stay working for tonight. The fuse blew because of the wrong power tube, but I don't know which one. Let's hope the Leslie stays working for tonight.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been our pleasure to bring you this band Dewolff. If you've not heard of them, then you need to go and listen to them. And if you get a chance to see them, you should definitely get out to see them live. Fantastic band, great album, and we're looking forward to you coming back to do this headlining tour of your own in March.
March, yes.
March it is.
All right. Thank you very much for this great interview.
Thank you, guys.